Hi everyone, it's Ed from my side. I wanted to go ahead and do the weekly B&B. So let's take a look at this about, what's new this week about the occult and magicians and witchcraft and anything of that matter. Something is what's called a banon, and a banon is something of like a banon to the like, and I'm seeing like right in your right mind, and like you're in your right mind, and you could do well, and like when you can do well, you can actually see it on through. Let me just switch this. This gets like as you can all tell, it irritates me when it's not in the right position. Now, when I see it, there's something about being in the right mind and having like all your goals and all your plans and everything in alignment. But there's still this like halt stop for a lot of people, even in their personal lives, no matter what they're doing. Now, as it plays on through, it's going to seem a little counterintuitive as you start like doing these plans. But when you see it and it does this halt stop, like all of a sudden, like intuitively and instinctively, you go, "I'm really not supposed to be doing it. Like I'm supposed to be resting, and I'm supposed to be eating and hydrating. I'm supposed to be paying the bills that are actually like the most important right now." And then you go, well, why are you doing that? And then all of a sudden people get like, I hate to say for lack of a better term, cocky and nasty with you because they know better and they know best. So that's where the magicians actually come in. When I see the magicians as someone as I am, and it's not like a play on words, it is something that is part of like coven law. It's about like psychic and mediumship. It's like the highest form that you could be. So sometimes I actually cut it short in these shows because it's like really hard energy when you try to explain it on the best way on a simplified version. So as a magician, as I'm sitting here, when I see the chariot card come out again, there's something that the chariot card wants me to know. So what do you want me to know, chariot card? Like what do you see right now? Something is known, like something is known about how to do this. So when I see this and I see the sun and it's happy, and I see like this wish is fulfilled, like a type of communication came in that was like wow, like about like taking stances, staking claim, doing everything all the way right down to like the wedding. You couldn't even see it coming down. When I see this and I see the King of Swords actually come on through, and it's like a bad like contract or a marriage or something like that. There was something like a deal on the table. And when I see this and I see the page of wands in reverse, it's like a slow it down. So as you're going to a rolling stop at a stop sign and it's really not well, you see like the imbalance of it. So that's where you get this term like in law enforcement, it's a California roll. So when you see it and you go, it wasn't secured. Yeah, it wasn't secured because you didn't do it well at the stop sign. You couldn't even believe how hard it was to see the King of Cups in reverse. There was like no attunement whatsoever. But there's something that happened that has to come through, and you can't even believe it on how well it was with this Knight of Cups. It's like emotional offering, like you have to. You literally have to. There's something about logic on many, many days in many people's lives over the last week where they're like, I didn't know why, and I got like maybe sneered at or like snickered or like yelled at. And really, I just slowed down for a second and I just had to do it. It was this type of turning point this Eight of Cups wants us to know that it really was a working of oneself that was really well because like positive feminine energy. And so I'll explain again if you haven't heard through the other videos, like feminine energy and masculine energy. When you go down to the science of it, of male and female, as they talk about in news today, it has to do with actual chemistry. So you go to organic chemistry, and then you go to protons and neutrons, and all of it. So it like even men have feminine energy. So this type of like energy that's coming in, it is not as bad when you actually get like certain news, they're like, okay, yeah, no, no, no. And then that offering comes in. When you see the Ace of Pentacles, it's like new jobs, it's new opportunities, it's new ideas for everything, everything, because of chaos coming in. So when you see this and you see the Tower card in reverse, it's the worst form of this because when you look at the picture, they're literally like jumping ship. It's not what you wanted. When you look at it, you see the Two of Pentacles in reverse. There's up to watching all disciplines of like all. When you see this, you see the Two of Wands. Something not foreseen. Like you couldn't believe what was true. When you see the Hierophant in reverse, you say something was really ill. Are they supposed to? There's something highly dictative. We've been saying that for a long time, like really, really long time, that there was something out there, even down to religious aspects, that's highly dictative and or how I do my religion. Now, when I do this and I see the star and I see the emperor and I see because it's hard masculine energy, it's going to make everyone happy. And I don't know why. Okay, on the internet, and we had to come back. I'm so sorry about that. Ugh, that's definitely new around here. That usually doesn't happen whatsoever. Now, there's something about like a getting together that wasn't supposed to be there. And when that happens, you couldn't understand. So that's everywhere. And we've all felt that, especially like if you had relationships like, what do you mean you went over there and like you did this? Like, what are you doing? That, like, I could have gone there or something like that. So when it comes down, going back to what we were talking about clearing, cleansing our space and reality, that is one of the options that I can do for people, even remotely is how are you smudging? Are you using sage? Are you using incense? Are you doing it? Because some people actually get awkward. So when it gets awkward, when it comes to clearing and cleansing your space, it is about keeping up as best as you can with cleaning your house on a regular schedule and like being adherent to that schedule and the way that you do clean your house and maybe your office or anything like that, but also too noticing the pattern of issues and instances. So maybe sage is not the best thing. Maybe dragon's blood incense is the best thing, or anything of that matter. Whatever you instinctively or intuitively are drawn to help like calm the area down. It's always good, especially after an argument or after any instance like that of like hard energy, negative energy that's unwanted, to clear your space. Now, when I see this and I see star royalty, there's something coming about it that needs to get known. There's something about like regenerating. It's part of quantum health that they're talking about. Um, let's see. So when you actually go to it, you don't even have to say anything. You just think it. You literally just think it, and it's okay. Now, when I look at it and I go, it has to come on through. There's something about unity. Sometimes it does take more people to clear and cleanse your space. And when you look at it and it says about like taking the chances, sometimes like you have to actually come in and you have to look at this other person and get your perspective. And when you look at it and you see the universal heart, like getting together and being a little bit more stronger, a little bit harder energy, maybe one person, but maybe you need three. So when you look at it and you see this, it's like right on the dot, right on the money, right on the target to the song of your soul, to dolphin play, to like where there's something of a strike coming in. When I see this and I see imagination and like Maya, you literally have to go about it in a way unknown. So when I see sound codex, there's something hidden that this deck is having a hard time. What do we need to know about the occult and the witchcraft and all of it that's in the last week going into this week? That we need to like with the new moon on the 18th. There was about grounding in reality, about cord cutting and making new ways, but pacing yourself out, not doing a whole thing, a whole set of it. It has to go like slow because you don't know how long those cords have been. They might have been with you for like a few centuries. Now, when I see this and you go, you can't even like do it hard enough. It has to do with like will and wisdom and mind. It has to do caught in the ruins. That's all. It's like counterintuitive all of a sudden. Like you're not supposed to be there at all. At all. When I see this and I see the garden, there's something about cultivating. You might actually get sick. So you might have to prepare and say, I might need an antibiotic after. That's reality. So when you are a practitioner or you are someone who is practicing witchcraft and someone comes to you and says, I need to cut cords, I need and cut ties, I need help with that. So when they do this, you have to literally have almost a disclaimer and a disclosure saying that you're going to feel ill and sour and like break it down physiologically on how they're going to do this. When I see the Akashic Library, there's like four things out here, at least 4 to 15 people who, like what I'm saying, are going through it. And that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to cut ties and bonds and all of that because it's no longer helping you. It is documented. You can't go to the library with the Akashic Library card is saying and look up this information. When you look at Uriel and the Sphinx, it's something of no like grounding to it. Like you're like in the stars like all of a sudden when you see this and the Buddha prepares is sitting and meditating alone. So a lot of times people who actually have gone through maybe separations or divorces or ending contracts and business and jobs, they actually have to sit alone a little bit and like kind of like get their bearing again. So when it comes to it and you have to go for it, is it good to actually delay things or is it good to go for it and go full on board? Because you really can't do it. So when you actually go to it and you go, I don't think so. You like you don't have your job, you don't have your marriage, you don't have your kids, you can't pay for anything, but you know it, and you know it, and they're like you're crazy. You got to go have a mental health exam. You go have a cognitive exam. Like no, that's how hard it is when you do it. So you almost have to do gentle. So my recommendation is that your gentle is one candle, either white or purple. And when you do it, it's no more than like a quarter of an inch when you cut the tie. When you might have to do it 3 times. So when you do it 3 times, you're supposed to use white or purple, white and gold the next, and then white and yellow mix together the wax. The ascent is talking about grounding, like they're space cadets, astral projecting. So when that happens, when you astral project, it goes on and through. So you actually are like like that. When they actually do it, they're still like elated, faded, meeting. Like all of a sudden you meet people who you didn't realize like you were supposed to meet. You couldn't even believe it, how hard it was to actually see it. When you see will, wisdom, and mind in reverse, when you see Archangel Michael in reverse, you go, it's not going to make the best of sense. But when you see the architect in reverse, to the loving elementals, it's going like back to the health, like about minerals. Like, what are they depleting from you, that person? They could be actually doing damages to you. So when I see this and I see the past unknown, it's an uptake of an uproar. Like, you can't even believe it. The divine physician is saying that it's talking about like go do it. Like it's like worth it for some people. You can't even setting your course. You're going to be off course. It almost like propels you into the future, especially when you ask the universe and not the universal collective. The universe and soul, like my soul knows because the universe knows exactly what I need. So when you sit there and you go exactly what I need, you couldn't even believe it on how that makes sense. So when I see this, and this is Starseed Oracle, I had to take a second. You're not for everyone. Embrace your awareness. Face your true north. And then when you see this, you see the cosmic heart devotion, potency. Make your life a moving prayer. As you go about in your healing and you're slowing down, I'd say a cord cutting ceremony and cutting ties. Do it safely over a year. Over a year. That's the recommendation, and then help them set themselves over 3 years. So you might actually be like revisiting someone for about 4 or 5 years, maybe up to 10, depending on how bad they had to get out of something because they've had enough. So when I see this, again, it's coming out like physical, emotional healing. Like they're odd. They're usually on. They have a hard time. When I look at this and I see, wait, it's not time yet, things are being woven, embrace your awareness and face your true north. When you do this, you go, it was a bad severing coming in, and you couldn't because of the way that it was connected, maybe to illegal, to criminal, to toxic nastiness. Like you couldn't even believe it, how hard it was to actually get like wrung out to a towel. When I see this and I see the blue flame, the spontaneous awakening, activation, and integration time is a full on forward flown. When I look at this and I see double mission, light worker, starseed, servant, rebellion, Eve, you're like grounded and soft when it happens. This individual who ends up being really should call it like being relieved from the issue. So when I see it, you're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community, maybe support groups is probably good, or maybe like their soul tribe, or however they do it, and sitting with them. Portal doors opening. It's saying like there's like a portal, like an opening or something. All of a sudden, where you're supposed to be all of a sudden, and it's a wild card. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Okay. When you see this, you go, wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes it takes time to get rid of it. You're going to have anger and conflict and something to love all of a sudden. So you're going to be hard. You're going to be hard. Okay. Light Sierra Sarah. What do we need to know? There's something about no getting together because of like bad business. That's the occult. What is the bad business coming out of the occult? There was a halt stop. I'm seeing that subpoena. I'm seeing where it actually goes to eyes and then looking in. When you see this and you see the magician, there's like nasty trickery. When you see this and you see the Three of Pentacles in reverse, you can't go in and see it. There's a teamwork, there's something about collaboration. Again, not the best of masculine. There's talking about misogyny, masculinity, toxic and ill. There's something about a move on and a move forward. There's something about prudency, turbulent enforce. And when you see this and you go to the Queen of Wands, in reverse, you go, there's no mastery skill, but you can sit well. But then all of a sudden you go, not like sit in well. When I see this and I see the Knight of Cups coming in reverse, there's an emotional offering about like a huge separation, about jobs, about like this nastiness. It's almost like this type of liberation to a type of freeing that came in through. I feel like as you look at America and as it plays out in your daily life, there was something that actually you can like see it in the public. It's a little easier, a little easier. It had to do with a lot of imbalance. It had to do with a lot of like nastiness. It had to do with a burden. It had to do with like this walking away, that like isolation to solitude. Like when you talk about solitude and it keeps coming out in each segment that we talk on the show, it has to talk about like a type of theft. When I look at this and I see the Four of Cups in reverse, but it comes out, there's like a double adjective here. I mean, you literally had to go in. You literally had to go in. You can't even believe it. The Queen of Swords in reverse is, there's no logic to this. There is no logic to this. It doesn't make sense. Six of Wands in reverse, no victory. There's no victory. The Seven of Wands, there's no like gated or guarded. And when you look at, there is an offering coming for many people after they do that, and it's simple and simplicity, and it is securement. When you see this King of Pentacles, that is where we are in the collective because of bad issues with any form of like what you would call like law enforcement and legal and judicial, and how it all played out in our lives. So when you have a knock on the door and you say, that was really nasty, and it's not calling it out, that's what this card is. It's like hard um, type of reviewing that came in. Okay, literary witches oracle. Okay, when you see love and you see tree, you go, something is so planted and rooted in love, you can't even believe who. Can't even believe who. So that is coming in. So new moon is talking about new relationships. That's kind of new from yesterday. That's really odd and strange. It usually doesn't do that. Once maybe every like 25 years to 225 years, we'll do that on a moon. So teacup, something of a full knowing on, something about love, absolute love. It's happened before. It's talking about love. When you see this and you see skull and love, transitions, reality, and grief, something about loss. There's something about like the senses and like craving. When I'm saying senses and craving, there's something that like many places it came forward like they needed it to almost like a toxic masculinity of like sexual hunger, but it wasn't sexual. It really wasn't. Like they had to go and get it right now. It was old wounds and illusions. So when I'm hearing grand rising and grand illusion, and as it comes through, it has to do with about parting ways and like softening the blow. And I go, there is stories when this happens, when you see the pond and you see the future, there's something of reflecting to the resolution about fate and letting fate actually happen. When I see this and I see the soul knows about this issue with nasty energy. You have to look at it and say, like, tree rooted, like, devoted, like, working together. And when you see endurance and pacing yourself and looking at it at night, it has to go, literally. There's something about this, like, rebellion coming in as I'm watching these protests. I'd have to say, I feel like it was a little rooted in witchcraft to the occult on what's coming in on through as you watch the ICE protests. Now, when you look at this, let's look at the poplar wood runes. All right. There's something about when you go about, even into the car, and even at night, it has to go about like how it easily comes in on through. And when you look at this and you go, it's like hidden game. And now I'm feeling that energy kind of mix it up. So I'm going to pull this rune instead. It has to do with about heritage and culture and say like what is owed to me. So it brings me back to Hatfield and McCoy's of how an arranged marriage that was proper actually disrupted somebody who was like, no, they weren't ever supposed to get married, those two. And then it went over a pig. So when you drop it and you go, it has to go on this, and it has to do like instinctive, and it has to do about like causing havoc, like instinctively, they're like, no, I'm supposed to be here. And they feel it hard, and then they soften and they sit well, and then everything's okay. When you do this and you go wealth, and you go, there is something about like when you see Hera of going on through whatever happened, because I mean, here you are with your family, or you're gonna get have nuptials and everything is good. When you see joy and you see like warrior, there's something about that. When you see Nadis, it has to do with night. Nadis is the cutout. It really is like done, absolutely being done. When you see this, there's something about like birth. I'm seeing birth of children when you have that marriage and it's still ill and sour around them, where it gets nasty about custody. So when it gets like strong and it comes in like really powerful, and you see this like family uptick, as we've all seen before, and it keeps like going about in the community, you go, like you have to actually like freeze, and you have to look at how good, like watching over as we have all these agencies on the issues that come at hand, because that was one of the concerns and many issues here in the state of Connecticut and in Arkansas and in Nebraska about custody, and if DCF and all of them were really paying attention because they have lawsuits now. Now I'm not really sitting here, and as someone who has worked alongside of these agencies as a visiting nurse, they're there for a reason. And yes, clinicians do get a knock on the door too after they've seen a patient, and the patient says this, and they check on through. You go, you know, there's something about like when you see this, like the rising sun to the hidden motive. So that is more back to the magicians. So they sit calmly. They know exactly when, like their timing is perfected, and you have to be measured with those you work with on your ability to time. When I see this, it's like a frequency in hertz that comes in, like a vibration, and the sting that they can feel, it goes right down to the waterworks. When I see this, like the fish and the deer and the tarantula comes in on through, it goes back to will and wisdom. When I see owl, now when I see it too, like I'm seeing like green, I'm seeing wood, I'm seeing woods, I'm seeing like river and stream. I don't know why I'm being led to like a river runs through it. There's something of like nastiness coming in. All of a sudden I felt with this that new moon is going to do the cut, and when I see it and I see the cut to the knock it out, you see this struggle in this golden tarot, and this coming out about like a huge issue. Where did the United States actually have a divorce from another country? That's what I'm seeing too. There was something about an inhibition that came in of like a laxicity. LA laxicity. It means like a type of a lackadaisical term of work. there was a working partnership, and when you see it, it came in through the wind, and it is a struggle with that Seven of Wands. It did help the load about money. It was good business, and something about the tariffs. I feel that's why it's going to come in harder this Knight of Swords, charging. And when I see this and I see the Four of Wands in reverse, I go, holy cow! You can't even. You just like you can't even at all. It's going back to the Conjuring House out here in Rhode Island about getting together. About there was a like they were disappointed about something like it didn't actually measure. Why didn't it measure? There is this card on the top right here is it's talking about source as I'm seeing it. You can't make it up. Why is the Conjuring House all of a sudden directed out? What do we need to know about that? Didn't make sense. It was like it doesn't want me to shuffle either. Let's tune into that a little bit. Conjuring House. Because I'm seeing Lorraine. I'm seeing Lorraine and Warren out here with Annabelle doll. That came in quick. It has to do with unrest. So I'm seeing Earthbound Spirit that's unrest and wasn't around to actually show. There was something of a takeaway where that Earthbound Spirit like walked away for a while, for like 2 to 5 months, 2 to 9 months, making me go cross-eyed on why they did that. As medium, when I see this, it has to do with greed. It's going to give you anxiety why it did it. I wouldn't worry too much about it because it will level off. You do have to have a psychic with you. Yeah, a psychic medium and someone maybe who can speak to the dead. Means that's a really, really low psychic. A low psychic, someone who can speak to the dead, means it can sit in such a low frequency, hertz, vibration, energy that you can pick them up on like audio. So that's why law enforcement will sit with you and the what are they saying? Because you're the only one who can hear it. It's something about foreknown, Nown, FOR, for NOWN, and then crosswave down to the Thames right here in Connecticut. There's something about that, and they go on a boat and they come back and they're good and they're solid. They're good. There's something out in the Atlantic. Something about the Titanic. Something about the Titanic down to the gold coin. You want to go out to the breakers, but then you can't go to the breakers, and you want to talk. It's more about Getty about oil down to New York City. That's where he was controlling a lot of his business. It goes to Amelia Earhart. She was very paranormal. I had to say Amelia Earhart. Oh my god. Uh, when I look at this, I go, there was something about prudency. This card wants to sit alone. I'm going to let it sit. Why do we need to know this like immediately? Wheel of Fortune, there's like a luck. You wouldn't believe what actually like came out. Like temperance, and balance walking. Can't believe it. Chariot. Ooh. Can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. Can't go there. Foreknown. Back to the wheel of fortune. To the old council. And like I'm seeing like the stone of the Masons. Like you go, what? What happened overnight? Railroad. The railroad. When you go to this, you go, happy, it hurts, you're going to get communication. Whatever you're seeing, hearing, or feeling, or even if you're a little intuitive, the Ace of Swords is your confirmation. It was everything. That's odd, odd. Now, when I said this, and I go, it's probably not best to do that. Royalty, something about royalty, a death in royalty. That's in the country that came in. So account, I see 139 like ley lines, 139 ley lines, foreknown, like commanded, like almost like something about commanding it to do it. When I see this and I say this Queen of Diamonds, like when you see this, you're sitting like maybe in a garden in a castle, and you go, or you turn around like, what do you mean? It's one of those. And you see this and you see like something about anchored. And you go, it comes trotting off with a bouquet. Like you act like someone actually like has a bouquet. And when you go here, like the sun is shining, it's happy, and the heart is like right on the sleeve. And it's a type of luck about like a, when they were saying like the rats in the slough. That's why we're changing our diet. So anyone who's ever had like slough, slander, or deformation, it actually shows in your physical appearance. So it's hard to get to the doctor. It's hard to take care of yourself. So you have to maximize your calories. That's also part of like being a practitioner. If you have like a shop and you have like witchcraft and crystals and stuff like that. So you actually have to say, you have to be mindful. You're allowed to say it. Watch your diet, visit your doctor at your regular intervals and stuff like that. There's really nothing wrong. It's not against the law. There's something about skeleton key. What do we need to know about the skeleton key? Like crossroads way, something about something about power, something that grows, and it had to do with like a meeting together and like working together. And I'm seeing like dawning on a sleeve. Now when I look at it and I go, the king of clubs, and this wants to come out in reverse, it actually is like consecrated. When I look at this and I see like 15, the bear, the bear is, it's hard to get out what the bear means. I've been seeing it again. Like I hear four lovelies in a day to like an ending. Like this is like a half-mast ending, and then an invitation. Is like a formal review, like actual formal review. When I see this, I see 32, and it goes to this. You'll see it at dusk. So certain people are only gonna see certain things that we've talked about. Like it's gonna happen overnight, as we said in Underground Picture, happen overnight. They're gonna know it's at angel times, and then it goes no dusk of May a day. That's all you need to know for the next week. Like something hard and harsh is coming through with that new moon, and it's gonna do a hard sever cut on what was did. So let's look at the crystal quartz, because that's all we have time for today. Like all you need is like foreknown, FORKNOWN, foreknown, and that's all you need to know. You'll know it. I'm seeing on a Tuesday. You will know something on a Tuesday, and that's all you need to know. So with that being said, go ahead and give a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we will talk to you soon. And we will talk to you next week.